I think they're going to be very similar.
I was like talking to my kids about drugs, like don't do drugs. If you want to get high, we'll go up to 23,000 feet. And they said, that's a dad joke, Dad. Of course, so do my students too. Have I said that in law class yet, Michael? No.
Yes. Yes.
I did say it?
Yes. Oh, and in
And in labor relations?
Yeah.
Okay. Professor Lorenzen needs some more jokes, I guess.
It's so good he repeats it. And that is a dad joke. Oh gosh, that's a dad joke.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get started? So thank you so much for being here. You are welcome to show your faces if you want. Just click the video button. You don't have to, of course. I will ask that people remain muted until it's time for someone to talk, just so that we cut down on the background noise. So I'm Christina Blobbaum. I'm the Dean of the college, and we have with us today several folks who are here who can help to answer questions if you have any. We have Dr. Maureen McFarland, who's our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. Professor Jason Lorenzen is here. We've got Michael, I'm sorry, Lawrence Epps. I was going to say Michael Epps, so I'm merging a couple of our advisors here. Lawrence is here. And so the whole point of this is just to be available to answer any questions, to make sure you're up with all of the new policies that have come out, because many of them, of course, are directed at the students. And so it's important that you understand the implications of those policies. And then also just to see how you're doing. So we'll start with that. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Good. Michael, what's that?
Doing well.
Okay. So how is the online remote education going?
Actually, not bad for me, being that I'm a distance learner anyway for most part, so I'm kind of used to it. And I'm also I have a full-time job, so we are on not furlough, but our whole company is working remotely now. So I have probably 4 or 5 remote calls from work every day with video and not video. So I'm pretty used to it.
Good. Excellent. Everyone else doing okay?
Yeah, absolutely. No problems on my end.
Oh, all right. Excellent. Then I guess what I'll do is I'll ask Dr. McFarland to explain the pass-fail policy that came out, and also to talk a little bit about summer. And
Yeah,
I'll hand it over to her.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. Just to clarify, because this question's come up a lot with amongst you and your peers, pass-fail policy, it's out. You can see it now. I just want to reiterate that a couple of key points. First, there is a list at the university that you can click on when you go to that policy that will show you the courses that are not eligible for pass-fail. There are no CAE courses on that list. In other words, you may request pass-fail for any course that has an AERN or a TECH in front of it. Anything beyond that, you'll have to go see if that course is supported. When students request a pass-fail, the flow, there's going to be a form flow that will come out. You'll be able to see access via Flashline. You can do so at any time, but the pass-fail is not processed until after your final grade is posted. So if you remember, if you've read through any of the language that's come out regarding pass-fail, faculty don't know if you've asked for it. So they're going to teach you as normal for the rest of the semester, and come final exam, they grade it, and they go into the system like they've always done, and they enter your grade. It's only then that if you have requested a pass-fail, the registrar's office will send it to approval. It'll end up coming to me, but like I said, we've not discounted any of our courses, and then that pass-fail will be processed. And I highlight that because even if you were to request it via form flow next Wednesday, it's not, you don't get a pass or fail based upon your grade that you had next Wednesday. It's what you get as your final grade. Some students are thinking that they could just ask for it and then stop attending class. And that's not true, because you could then get a stop attending F. Remember, the faculty member doesn't know if you ask for it or when they ask for it. So just keep that in mind. And that's why the policy specifically says you can look at your final grade, whatever you've earned, And then 5 days later, once the grades are posted, you have 5 days beyond that point to request a pass-fail. So that's why that's there. The second component I want to bring up regarding pass-fail, because this has come up with a couple of your peers who've asked the question, is if I am in a class that is a prerequisite for another class, and that prerequisite includes a grade. I need a C or better in this class to go forward to the next class. And you earn a D, and a D is passing, and you request pass-fail. You will be able to get that pass-fail, it'll go forward. You haven't met what was the prerequisite, but in essence, that prerequisite is now waived during this period. So you will be able to register for the next course. You will get into the next course. You won't get kicked out of that course. You won't be disenrolled. And although your faculty don't know if you've requested pass-fail, we can still see the grade that is in the system. And we will be looking for the courses in our college that require a C or better to progress in the follow-on class. We will pull the rosters and we will look, and we'll look through and we'll say, okay, students were supposed to have a C or better, and I have 4 students who didn't earn a C, who got a D, and they elected pass-fail and they moved on. And the only reason we would be doing that is to ensure that those students who got the D in the previous class get the supports that they need in order to do well in the follow-on class. Whether the students take advantage of those supports, it's up to the student. But as far as office hours, tutoring, recitation sessions, all those different things, for the follow-on class, we will be offering you whatever help we can to ensure that you kind of get caught back up, you're successful in the follow-on class, so you can succeed throughout the rest of your time. And I think those are the 2 key points. Does that raise any questions for the 3 of you that are on here regarding the pass-fail? And I'll say silence doesn't raise any questions. Yeah, Michael, did that raise a question for you?
No, not at this time.
Okay, all right, cool. And then the other thing that the dean asked me to speak on is the summer policy. So you've already seen language at summer 1 and summer 2 are remote. We don't yet know about summer 3. The expectation is that the university will make that decision based upon just what's going on, statewide and nationally with the COVID, sometime in May. So we're not going to know about summer 3 until May, probably after finals and things like that. So what you'll see in the schedule, summer 1, summer 2 courses are there. Every one that you see will be remote. Summer 3 will be, we're planning on it being face-to-face. If we get the word that it's going to go remote, we'll just transition then. Some courses might drop off. I don't really know yet. But actually, more importantly, I think we'll be adding, sorry, I got gnats in my house. We'll be adding some courses. With respect to summer 3, some of those courses that might be face-to-face may also have a remote component with it. Case in point, Professor Lorenzen's teaching his courses in summer 3, and he's already said, if I'm face-to-face, I'll teach them face-to-face, and I'll also have a video, camera right there, and I will offer a component of it remote so that students who are already home, already doing their things, can continue to take that class over the summer. So that's an option. I'm working with all the faculty right now to identify who might be willing to do that hybrid for summer 3. And then with that, there are some courses that are currently on the schedule that have a significant lab component. I'm thinking of survey of electricity, electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, cast metals, air traffic control. Those courses are on the schedule. Well, if we can't get back to campus, we can't do the labs. We're figuring it out for this semester because we had to, because we were already 2/3 of the way through, but we're still trying to figure it out for the summer. And one of the options we're working with faculty on is potentially what we do is we allow students to register. They register as per normal. They do the lecture component remote, knowing that as soon as we get back to campus in the fall, not in summer 3, but in the fall, you will have to make up the lab component of that class. So if we offer an ATC course, say for example, you might do all of the lecturing over the summer, and this will be noted at the registration point. But in the fall, the first 4 Saturdays of the semester, you're going to be on campus for 8 hours doing all of the labs. I don't know exactly what the schedule will look like. I don't know if it'll be every Saturday. I don't know if it'll be in the evenings, but at the time we create that class, it will be posted in the notes so you can see it. And I keep saying Saturday and evenings because if we're making up labs from the summer, that's probably the only time that we're going to have room in the building to do it come fall, would be in the evenings and on Saturdays. I've gotten a lot of feedback from the program coordinators on the types of courses that we can add to the summer schedule or that might be good for this remote lecture lab. And by the end of today, I should have a good look at it so that by next week, you should see a nice solid summer schedule, summer 1, 2, and 3, and all of the components that go with it. Keeping in mind, as always, that unless we have, significant enough enrollment, we won't host a summer course, but I think going remote will probably get more students than we normally do. So that's the summer discussion. Does that raise any questions for any of you? And I forgot to look at my chat to see if anybody. Okay, so good. The rest of you guys can hear me except for the dean. The dean can't hear me. Sorry.
Cutting in and out.
I just looked at it now, so I apologize. I didn't see it until now.
You're okay.
All right.
So I guess the other thing that we just want to mention is that this should not, what is going on right now should not derail you in any way. You should be able to stay on track, possibly even get ahead if there are some courses that we typically don't put on the remote access this summer. You might even have a chance to take something that you wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to take. So this is not something that should derail you. If you are having difficulty in any way, or a friend, a colleague of yours is, and they think it's going to mess them up in terms of their progression or their graduation, send them to us, because it should not. As long as students are doing what they're supposed to be doing, getting the grades that they need, and now with the pass-fail option, that provides even more flexibility, this should not affect anyone. So, just make sure you reach out if you feel that you are having an impact, that colleagues who are, encourage them to reach out. The other thing is register. Go ahead and register for classes. It's been a little bit delayed. I think people have been so engaged in everything going on, just trying to stay sane and get onto remote options, that things are delayed. But go ahead and start signing up for your classes if you haven't already. The advisors are available. They're meeting with students. You're still expected to meet with your advisors. So that still needs to happen. So any general questions that you have? Anything at all, or comments or ideas, anything for us?
Just very briefly, or actually, Norrell, if you'd like to go.
Oh, well,
Sure, go ahead.
called non-traditional student, which I hate the term. I consider myself a student. and me and Mr. Epps have talked about that in the past. But again, being that I am a part-time student working towards a degree, and it's going to be a while, there are some classes that I know that I'm going to come up against a situation where, being with a full-time job, trying to get them scheduled in. One of them being air traffic control and the lab. Is there ever talk about possibly having air traffic control offered as an evening session and a lab evening session, or a Saturday session, and things of that nature? Just asking, because if it's not, I'm going to have to make a major change to my work schedule to possibly accommodate some of those classes going forward.
So Nora, I'll answer that question for you. Yes, there is a possibility. And the beauty of the situation that was forced upon all of us is it's now making everybody realize that there's a lot of different opportunities that we've not previously pursued. And, case in point, what I talked about with Professor Lorenz and, teaching that class remotely, it's not that he ever said, no, I won't do it. Just it didn't really occur to us. We hadn't really gotten into that practice. And now that we're doing it, we're like, oh, yeah, this isn't so bad. Using ATC as an example, the students that are in classes this semester that we can't use the labs. So our ATC faculty have done a really great job of getting together with other ATC programs, and they're working with there's that kind of a remote training option that Cuyahoga Community, CCBC, I forget what Community College of Beaver County, that's what it is, over outside of Pittsburgh. They have that remote trainer, and they're sharing teaching scenarios and lab scenarios and voice scenarios with us. And those are things that we're going to be able to use beyond just this small kind of intervention crisis period. I don't know exactly what that looks like for you, and in particular with ATC, but I do know that we will see more and more options that will help not only our on-campus students, but also our part-time students and students that aren't physically in our area. I just encourage you to keep talking with Mr. Epps as you have been. And I keep telling the advisors, tell me, when you hear about these unique challenges, maybe we can, mitigate those for those students. And then the other thing I'll say, because I say this to all of the students, the earlier you tell me, I am willing to kind of create, if we have to have a lab section and it's got to be at night and I know you need it, and you tell me you need it, in fall of 2021, well, then we'll try to get it out there for fall of 2021. If it helps you and all the other students are doing it at the same time, I like to encourage the students that are, I guess, more prepared, not really prepared, but just looking farther out, we can accommodate those things. So just keep having those communications with him. And yes, you will see greater flexibility in delivery and reception, I think, moving forward. Long answer, but there's a lot there.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'm very, very, very happy with the accommodations that the college has now for us non-traditional students, so to speak. I'm not divulging how old I am, but I will be retiring probably within about 2 years. So then I'll probably be down there full time anyway, but I'm trying to get as much done as possible, going forward. So.
Well, and the other thing I want to say too, I got 3 of you here, but again, another thing I keep talking about, and the advisors are aware, and we're doing it within, a certain amount of flexibility. The beauty of the position that the dean created, her vision for the college, that all of our programs kind of link together, is that there's also flexibility for substitutions. And I always default back to the advisors. Mr. Epps will be the one to come in, but it's also gonna be the type of thing where, let's just use air traffic control as an example. If you're graduating with an aviation management degree and the one course you haven't been able to get to is air traffic control, and you've got everything else online, and it's not because you're sitting at home playing video games or taking naps or something, Lawrence will talk to me, and then we can go like, okay, well, yeah, let's find a good substitution. There's probably a great, law and ethics class that I know Professor Lorenzen just created, which might benefit you in the long run and doesn't mess with accreditation requirements and those types of things. So there's always flexibility there as well. I just keep encouraging you guys, keep in mind or keep in touch with your advisors, because we can do that. And that's what we should be doing to help everybody get through the programs.
Great, thank you.
And Michael, did you have a question as well?
Oh yes, just very briefly. Come first week of August, I'll have 6 credits to transfer in from the Community College of Allegheny County in Pittsburgh. They're just general education courses. Well, I don't anticipate it, but do you think I'd run into any issues transferring them in? I've done it before. I just don't know if because of all this there'd be any delays or issues with that. That's
a Lawrence question.
I don't foresee any challenges, although, the university does state, historically, they have stated that the preference is that students not do transient coursework in the last semester due to possible delays in processing. But I think, in the era that we in, with technology being what it is, I don't foresee any challenges with that whatsoever.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
And I can say this as well. We just saw some communications yesterday or the day before with all of our transfer agreements. And there were some, with this pass-fail policy in particular, some people were saying, well, if we have an equivalency, for example, we have students who take intro to aeronautics, not at Kent State. They do them with these other programs, different high schools, mostly high school programs. And they were supposed to get a C or better. And they said, well, but if they have a pass-fail and they're a Kent State student, does it count? Yes, it does. We're not gonna differentiate because one person's this person or one person's that person. If it's a Kent State course, they all count, and we'll figure it out down the road to the best advantage of you, the student. So keep that in mind as well. It might take a little bit longer, like Lauren said, but shouldn't really have much of an effect.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, Michael,
Yes, sir.
when are you signing up for those classes? I know we talked about it, and those are core requirements. What term in the summer?
So I signed up for those last week, and I believe one starts the second week of May. Actually, they both start the second week of May. One ends the first week of June or the second week of June, and the other one ends, I believe, early July.
Oh, you won't have any problem whatsoever. You'll be early bird.
Okay, sounds perfect. I just
Oh,
wasn't
yeah,
sure if this created any hiccups or
oh, yeah,
anything.
you'll be fine.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So folks, I have another meeting at 11. I'm going to jump off, but before I do, I want to ask you, what do you think this is behind me? Any ideas? Michael, Benjamin, Noral? What is it?
Is that the
Gotcha.
proposed addition to the aeronautics building?
Say that again?
Is that a proposed addition to the aeronautics building?
It's a proposed addition to the Aeronautics and Engineering building. That's right. And it's going to be a new wing. The RFI, request for information, went out, or request for proposals rather, went out to hire a company to design it. And so we are hoping, I just had a meeting with the university leadership, we're hoping that it'll be in place to break ground in the next, certainly in the next year. So those of you who might be early in your career are going to watch it go up. Those of you who are farther along, you just have to come back for the grand opening and be excited about that. So tell everyone else too. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
And thank you so much. I've got to jump off. I'm so sorry.
But I found a joke. You want to hear it?
What's the joke?
Okay, it's an aviation joke. A student was flying back home, so he reaches to the airport, he gets to the airport counter and he speaks to the person there. Sir, here's my passport and the ticket. The officer says, or the person at the counter says, okay, well, everything looks good. May I check your luggage? And the student says, yes, here it is, but I would like to send my green suitcase to Hawaii and my red suitcase to London. And the counter agent looks confused and says, I'm sorry, we can't do that. And the student says, really? I'm so relieved to hear you say that because that's exactly what you did to my luggage last year.
Very nice. I am going to leave and you guys can continue on. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right, bye-bye.
Anybody have any other questions before any of us sign off?
No,
yeah,
I'm all good.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
More specifically in the professional development for aeronautics class. I'm a first year student, and the plan for the third semester is to have the professional development in aeronautics 1 course in that third semester. And my question is, I noticed that it was only available spring 2020 in the virtual schedule builder. And I was wondering if that will become available for fall 2020 rather than just spring.
So it's a great question. And what just happened this year that you can't quite see because it kind of happens behind the scenes and then it becomes effective this fall is starting this coming fall, all incoming freshmen are only required, according to their roadmaps, to take 1 professional development course. And it's a professional development course that every student in the college has to take, not just aeronautics students. Their engineering students will take it their sophomore year, so it's called professional development for engineers. Aeronautics students will take it their junior year based on what the faculty wanted, and it's called professional development for aeronautics. So whereas previously there were 3, professional development 1, 2, and 3, there is now only 1 that is required. That's why you no longer really see it on the schedule, because what we do as faculty and staff is, particularly when we're removing a requirement, if we're removing it for this entire incoming freshman class, why would we leave it in place for those of you who are just in the middle of your program? Even though it's on your roadmap, the requirement has been removed. So what you'll do is you'll work with your advisor, and the one that you have to be sure that you register for is going to be professional development in aeronautics, because that's where the mock interviewing component is. And that's kind of that, and some other professional development is what we've decided all of our students need. So if you've done FYE but have not yet done ProDev 1, ProDev 1 has essentially gone away, and you need to register for, whenever it's appropriate, ProDev, Professional Development Aeronautics. It'll look like ProDev 2 on your roadmap, and that's the only one you're going to have to do. So the other 2 credit hours that are kind of sitting out there that are on your requirements, you'll work with your advisor to, you still have to have the credit hour requirements, but you'll meet those requirements some other way, maybe with an elective, or you're doing a minor or something else like that. You'll talk with your advisor. Does that answer that question for you?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
That's why you don't see that there, because we're no longer offering it. We don't need to offer it.
Yep. I did notice that it now says, instead of the AERN number, it's now the engineer ENGR
So there
20,000.
is there is an AERN version of it, which has a 30,000 level number on it, and there's an ENGR version of it which has the 20,000 level, just because of where they're supposed to take it. And you will want to register for the AERN version, because the professional development examples, the interviewing, those types of things will be directed towards your career field of choice, vice engineering. Even though we'll do them all together, but just some of the examples and ethics and things like that are geared towards each of the 2 different career areas. And Lawrence, you were going to say something?
I was going to speak to that specifically about the subject headings changing. Being that you're an aviation management student, the only TECH class that you have in your program is engineering graphics, which is TECH 13580. You might have already taken that, but that's now ENGR 13585. So outside of that, I don't think you would encounter any other subject heading issues at this point.
All right. Thank you very much.
Any other questions or things we can answer for you?
So I just want to just interject here to let the students know that I'm in contact with the ARN Aeronautics faculty at least once a day, if not once every other day, to see how things are going. Just make sure, again, we're there for the students. We want to make sure that you guys are finishing your coursework. Make sure that you're communicating with your professors if you guys are running into any difficulty, and know that we're there for you. We want to see you finish. We want to see you be successful. So that's all I have to say.
Jason, I got a
All right.
joke for you. Don't you just hate it don't you just hate that situation when you're picking up your bags at the airport and everyone's luggage is better than yours? It's a worst case scenario. Bum.
Oh, I'm gonna start law class Tuesday with that one.
That is a dad joke. Oh,
I'll tell that to Victoria, see what she says.
all right. If you guys need anything, just reach out to us at any time.
Again, thank you very much and have a good day.
Work well.
All
Stay
right,
safe.
take care.